Welcome to Living in the Light, and I'm Mary Amy, and I'm coming to you live from New York. And I'm all about shifting away darkness, guiding you to your truest potential, and cracking open that beautiful glowing light in your heart. Welcome to the fifth dimension. Here we are, maybe in the fourth dimension. Have you risen and ascended out of the third dimension, which is the matrix? Tonight we're going to have topics that we're going to discuss, like, for example, we're about to enter into the 1111 portal, which is a great time for you to ascend, for you to reach a higher consciousness, for you to activate all of your abilities within you that are dormant. We're also going to cover the Anunnaki aliens. Yes, the Anunnaki. And I want to get on to NESARA, GESARA. What's going on? Is there going to be some kind of financial collapse? And I know this is a lot of speculation. However, isn't most everything out in the physical reality speculation? We know what's going on here within us, and I want to cover that as well. Also, what about some of this advanced technology like anti-gravity vehicles and some of these extraterrestrial technologies? Of course, I'm going to mention angels and psychic phenomenon. Usually we do some kind of exercise or activity. I am happy to say that I've overcome so much today, or in the last hour and a half, and you're aware of some of my issues because I'm human like you. And I have this whole idea in my mind, this whole plan of how things are going to play out. It's not about controlling. It's more about where I see my destiny to be. And what I seem to kind of encounter over and over again recently is that I tend to get away from going with the flow. And when I say going with the flow, I mean the way things seem to be happening or the direction they're going into. And going with the flow is a way of hitting the least resistance or whatever your flow should be. I guess if you don't experience it, it's hard for me to explain it. It's about your energy. It's about when everything seems to kind of fall into place and it's going in a certain direction and you kind of fight it. And it probably are circumstances that are unpredictable and a little surprising. And they get a little bit nerve-wracking because you don't know how things are going to play out, right? And so we have some anxiety and we have some caution about whether or not, is that going to work out for me? However, I believe that if you have a plan, and I'm going to have to listen to my own advice, if you have a plan, and when I say, I've said to you many, many times, imagine, hey, Trident, I'm so glad you're here. Anastasia, so glad you're here as well. Anyone who's joining us, I hope you like the video and subscribe. And I am going to get onto the topics. I'm just sharing some personal information because I could sit here and talk about all these topics and never kind of touch on how things are going for me, which maybe you say, oh, well, I can apply that to my own life, or I have an understanding that she's going through some tough times too. So I have to go more with the flow. And when I say, here's my destiny, and we sit here in the moment, and let's do it right now, because you know I always like to practice this. And I believe every single time that we practice some of these exercises, we are actually stretching ourselves. We are reaching beyond what we are normally is our comfort zone. And our comfort zone is a lot of the brainwashing that we've grown up with, the mind control of how we are supposed to behave, what is acceptable, and how society and culture tells us to be. So let's right now step out of that thinking, and we're going to create the reality that we want here in this moment. Now, when I say here right now in this moment, that's because Doesn't matter what happened 5 seconds ago or where we're going. All of our energy lies, all of the energy lies in the moment, in the present. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to let go of any tension that you have in your arms and legs. Let out a breath. I need to do so myself. I had a little pity party a few minutes ago, and then I just picked myself and dusted myself off, and here I am before you on November 9th in the Matrix work week. It's Thursday. All right, so we're going to let go of any kind of tension that we have. We're going to put all of our weight in our bottom, and we're going to imagine our feet firmly planted in the earth's surface. So it's like the roots of a tree. That's what your feet are going to be like. Sinking down into the earth, you're going to wiggle your toes. You're going to imagine them in the depths of soil in the earth. And then I'd also like you to kind of visualize the base of your spine, which is the root, your root chakra, going also down into the earth. And so you're just putting all your weight and your trust, and you're having a willingness to do this exercise. And we're letting out a breath. And we're finding some kind of peace within us. And we are reminding ourselves, here we are in this moment. And so I'm going to pick up little Elsa, because Elsa just got a grooming. I'm going to share with you little Elsa. And she looks a lot less full and fluffy than she was the last time I had her here. But I'm going to, yes, so glad to be watching. Okay, so Elsa's going to do this exercise with us. And I need this support, Elsa, right now. You're my co-host. And so we're imagining our base of our spine deeply planted in the earth. We're imagining our toes wiggling, and we are here in the present. And right here in the present, I have little baby Elsa here who just turned 10. So she's not that much of a baby, but I'm still going to call her a puppy dog. And then we are going to have gratitude and say, thank you, thank you, thank you that I'm here on this earth, New Earth Gaia, and I'm breathing. Because we have to have gratitude for that, regardless of how your life is taken on, what kind of reality you have in the outer world, in the inner world. Let's have gratitude. Let's say, I am so grateful. That's a little mantra. I am grateful. I'm grateful for being alive, for being here. Okay, so now that we've done all that, I'd like you to imagine, and you're having gratitude, you're in this moment, you've let out a breath, you're grounded, and you're going to imagine right here before you, in the palm of your hand, in this moment, which in New York, we are at 8:18. We are going to remind ourselves, what is it we want? Maybe it's something on your bucket list. Maybe it's one of your 10 humongous goals. Maybe it's something you've been reaching forward and praying for and hoping for. And you haven't seen even a glimpse of it. I'd like you to imagine it right here in this moment, whatever it is. What does it look like? What does it smell like? What do your senses tell you about it? Every single detail that you can imagine. I'm going to be quiet, and we're going to imagine it and visualize it right here before us like you have it now. Not in 10 or 20 years, right now. Okay, now a really important factor in you getting to your destiny is having an emotion of joy when you imagine this. Because if you have joy, then you can accomplish it. Okay, so I'm going to also, before we get on the first topic, which is the 11/11 portal, which is coming up. Today's the 9th, so that would put us on Saturday. It's a big time to activate your inner guidance, your abilities, your talents that you have inside of you. And a lot of what I'm telling you or reminding you is about your belief system. And that's really all this is. Everything that we are speaking of is about your belief system, because if you can believe something, if you have a willingness to accept something new into your life, whether it's an opportunity or whether it's a different thought. That can change everything in one quick second. So let me remind you my three important, I guess, factors in creating the new version of you is one, write down your dreams as soon as you wake up, your sleeping dreams I'm speaking of. And if you don't write them right down in the morning, maybe jot them down in a dream journal or on a piece of paper. It can just leave your mind. Just like we speak of having psychic phenomenon and how quick the sensation is. It enters your body and it leaves your body. That's how our dreams are. Because when we're so busy, immediately we have thoughts of whatever we're going to experience throughout the day or what we must accomplish, our tasks. So write down your dreams. They can guide you. They can maybe take you to another realm. I will share with you in the last few days, I had some really bizarro dreams, one of which was, and this is not a happy dream, that I would be in a situation and people would just literally die before me. They were just dying all over the place. I don't know what that means. Maybe if you take that metaphorically, that means it's the new beginning. It's a new beginning. It doesn't necessarily mean death. There's a lot of interpretations when it comes to dreams. 2, I want to remind you your intention. Having a good intention. It's easier said than done. I don't think that any of what I'm saying is easy. You just take little bits and pieces and baby steps. Maybe you take one shred of information that I have to say and it might change things or not. This might not resonate with you at all. You might say, I'm not really interested in what she has to say, and you turn it off. And that's okay too. Whatever brings, I guess, your imagination to you, awareness, and hope is all that I'm considering to be important. And then 3, our thoughts are very powerful. And I had to remind myself a few minutes ago about that because I kind of went down and I had a moment of tears. And I think I was letting go of a lot. Sometimes it's okay to cry. And we don't need someone to hold our hand through it. We just cry and let it out. And then we just take a pause maybe and kind of discover something that's on the other side of it. All right, so let's get into the portal 1111. Oh, anyone who's joining us, please write in the chat like Trident is. Hi, Mary, so happy you went on. Oh, hi, Trident. Hey, Bob Harding, there you are. You had an energy breakthrough, which never turned off the show. Wait, what does this say? Would never turn off the show. LOL. Oh, thanks. I had an energy breakthrough that transformed my day. Perfect, Bob. We are running parallel, aren't we? I have to share with you. So you know that I basically was having had 2 jobs I've been doing, day job and the night job. The night job is over. Looks like I'm just going to have an earlier day job and then a regular day job, which is fine because this is making more time for me to do these telepathy videos. And I can't wait to complete those. Bob Harding decided to write on one of my videos. He had a premonition about me. He had a message that was told to him, and he put it in the comments on my YouTube channel. And he was absolutely correct. He said, you're going through something very transformative and you're in a transition. And he was correct. Sometimes we go through little transitions and sometimes we go through great big transitions. I believe this might have been one of the closer to the great big transitions. Thanks, Bob Harding. I appreciate your positivity. All right, so the 1111 portal. What do we all think about that? What do we have to say about that? Do I have a beautiful photo to hold up? Well, I can hold up this painting of angels, Angels Dancing Sun, Giovanni di Paolo, Italian painter. And these angels are holding hands and they're dancing in a circle. So the 1111 portal, what is about to happen here? Well, I've said before that you can actually experience a portal anytime you change your belief system, every day that you wake up, but there's some significant transformative possibilities when it comes to these portals because of numerology. I don't know if you're familiar with numerology plus angel numbers. That's why I'm bringing up angels. So 1111 portal is an activation day. And this is a day of very powerful healing for you, which means that if there's something that you've been going through, or you already are on the other side of it, we still need to heal ourselves. Even if you are through the pain of something, it doesn't mean that you're entirely healed. And I'm speaking on a cell level. I'm speaking on a spiritual level, emotionally. So 1111 is actually a day of ascension of the spirit. We know right now that we are experiencing a spiritual war. There's a spiritual war going on between good and evil, and it's been happening. And the divide has become larger and larger. It's expanded because we've left behind a lot of the old mindsets and we're moving into this new world. And in this new world, we're going to have peace on earth and love and light. And we're going to have more superpowers, I guess you could say, more abilities, more telepathy is going to be present. It's going to be a lot about nature and less about monetary, less about consumerism. The world is going to morph kind of into an opposite realm. And I want to mention some of the like secret government that's been going on. I'm going to get into some of the black projects because I want to speak about some of these inventors who discovered way back in the 1950s some of these anti-gravity vehicles, and the patents were taken by the government. Back to the 1111 portal, this is a time for you to ascend. It's a time for you to ascend because the earth is actually changing. It's transmuting the energies of the earth. And it's like it's all rising up. It's all being cleared of all of the darkness and negativity. And it's kind of coming hand in hand with humanity. Humanity is waking up. And I bet you've woken up or you wouldn't be here listening to me. So your consciousness is going to be expanded where you kind of think of more possibilities. You are thinking kind of on a sci-fi level. Could this really be true? This technology? Could my body actually take on, I guess you could say, a youthful appearance, more, how am I going to say this without sounding like I'm speaking about more Marvel superheroes, but you're going to, if you're an artist, you're going to become a better artist. If you're a writer, you're going to become a better writer. And I believe it also is going to transcend into our physical, not just our mental and our emotional. I believe that we are going to expand as physical beings. And I don't know if our age is going to be affected. In other words, are we going to become more youthful? And I've heard about these med beds, and I've heard about these anti-aging frequency, I guess, machines. I'm very curious about it. So we're going to be able to self-heal on 1111, and you're going to wake up. So maybe if you could possibly think of it on Saturday when you wake up, for your mind, and maybe put a reminder, maybe a sticky note or something. Oh, it's 11:11. And the first thought of the day is something really positive. Maybe write it down before you go to sleep. Maybe Friday night, write down the first thought that you would like to have, because we are capable of controlling our thoughts and bringing ourselves to a better place. So 1111 is a master number. 11 is a master number. It initiates you into who you are. Your intuitive abilities will surface. Who are you? I'd like you to ask yourself that question right now. Who are you? What am I saying exactly? I kind of want you to figure that out. I mean, we have to have what's called self-actualization, where we discover, I mean, the ins and outs. I always say we have to accept the good and the bad of us. Why don't you discover who you are? Start to think about that. We're going to shed old habits. We're going to have a new beginning. We're going to lose all the negativity. We're going to wake up for good. And we're not going to close our eyes anymore. We're going to say, all right, I'm fully awake. And that's what I've been experiencing. And you know what? It's not so much fun lately because I see everything. I'm so aware now. Nobody can pull the wool over my eyes. And it gets a little tiresome. People think that they're really slick. They think, oh, she's not aware. And I know, I'm paying attention. You don't really want everyone to know that you're that awake, because sometimes it's not for your own good from their perspective. So you're going to access your highest good. You're going to access most of your advanced energies, and the ones that are within you and the ones in the universe. So we're going to kind of reach. So maybe you want to close your eyes on 11/11, and maybe you want to imagine with your eyes closed the most beautiful reality that you would exist in, whatever that is to you. Maybe it's someplace in nature. Maybe it's a specific home. Maybe it's a civilization. Maybe it's gold buildings. I don't know, whatever it is to you, you want to start to magnify whatever your ideas are, because this is how we're going to reach to each other. Because if we all lift our ideas up, we will start to connect. And that's how we manifest. And that's how the rest of the world is manifest. They're not necessarily manifesting where people are coming up with the same ideas. They manifest through the mainstream media. They keep blinking at us the same information repetitively. And then eventually, that's how they manifest it. Well, we can manifest in a creative, positive way through our thoughts, and we connect to each other. So this is the highest good. We're waking up. Infinite possibilities. Infinite. The most beautiful buildings, the most beautiful nature scenes, whatever it is for you. It's not me to tell you. It's you entirely. You have it within you. You have sacred wisdom within you. You have an inner guide, and it's going to surface in all aspects of your life. Now, here we are with a quote from the Council of Light, because you're hitting your peak now. That's what the fifth dimension is. You are transcending to the fifth dimension. And in the fifth dimension, it's a new world that is guided by light and love and peace. Not fear, not shame, not hurt, not anger. It's light and love and peace. So here's a quote from the Council of Light. Ready? Expand into your divine consciousness. Bask in coherent crystalline energies. So I'd like you to just visualize that. What does that mean exactly to you? Manifest incredible blessings in your present life experiences, and tap into the infinite field of divine love and peace. Now, saying these words will actually activate it. Again, tap into the infinite field of divine love and peace. Raise your vibration, embody peace, blessings, and light. I will put this quote on the description. Restore the highest template of your soul truth. Okay, so it's entirely up to you what you do with that information. We're going to get on to the Anunnaki aliens. Let's try to sing. This is putting me where I need it. Oh, good. Fantastic. You know, anyone who's here today, I really, really am grateful for you. Thank you for joining us on Living in the Light. And I just want to remind you that you're a beautiful being of light. Doesn't matter where you live, what you look like, what you have, or what you do. You are an advanced being of light, as is. Now, all of us can kind of have a pity party, and maybe you had some chronic low self-esteem or low self-worth. We can counter that with our thoughts, having positive affirmations like, I am a worthy being. I love myself, I accept myself. Start with I am. I am. and then say whatever mantra you want. You know what? I'm not saying you have to say it every minute of the day. Maybe once in a while, if you can remind yourself, write it down. All right. So who were the Anunnaki? What I'm starting to hear about were the Anunnaki, the first aliens that were here. Were they known gods that were from the sky? The Anunnaki there's not that much really directly written about the Anunnaki. I find that very fascinating because when I look up a lot of these alien species, there's a whole heck of a lot about Palladians, service to others, and how they are working with the Galactic Federation of Light. There's a whole lot about reptilians and draconians. There's not a lot about Anunnakis, the Anunnaki alien gods. So allegedly, this is all alleged because I don't know for sure. Like I say, unless I see it with my own eyes. I'm just telling you the research because I go down the rabbit hole and I discover whatever I want to find out, whatever seems to be the truth to me is what I repeat to you. And so what I found out were the Anunnaki was a group of ancient Sumerians, I can't pronounce things. Actinians, Assyrians, and Babylonians. They were known as alien extraterrestrials with extraordinary powers. Now, when I looked up pictures, I really only found pictures like this. They were cut into stone. And obviously, I don't know, but it's so interesting because it looks like they have wings. And allegedly, they decided the fates of humanity, and they came here to Earth to breed humans, and they wanted the gold. They wanted the gold. And the story goes, or the myth goes, or is said that they were here first, and then it's believed that they were here. Are they gods? Are they aliens? And they had an ability to influence. It's believed the Anunnaki were from Mesopotamia. The myth says that they lived in the sky, Anon, and A-N-A-N-U, known as the celestial guides. And the quote goes, extraterrestrial entities from other planets that they would colonize on Earth. So were they here living below the earth, or were they here just telling all these other species of aliens what to do? Again, here, allegedly, they were tall, 9 to 10 feet tall with very white skin and long hair, and known to be from the planet Nubu. And they came 450,000 years ago. So the technology that we have, like our phones, is very primitive, and that's to keep us in the dark. And that's actually a tracking device. We're talking about some of these extraterrestrials that brought advanced technology here thousands of years ago, possibly 450,000 years ago, and they controlled humanity. And they began by trying to take the gold. And so did they create a genetic hybrid? I don't know. They're known as ancient aliens, and they are members of a cult, their own cult. And it's advanced, it's constructed, base of operations to mine gold. So are the Anunnakis the reptilian race? I don't know either, obviously. It would be very fascinating to find this out firsthand. Maybe we will one day. Again, I'm bringing up subjects and I move into different areas because I feel that they're relevant, or it's something that I'm hearing repeatedly. What is Bob Harding? When I go into the public, I prepare myself to be patient, loving, and caring good. Well, that's very nice of you, Bob Harding. That's very positive. And you know what? That probably resonates. Your energy resonates to everyone else. It's like when you have a group or a crowd of negative beings, negative individuals, and then you bring in one positive, it can influence or it can change the energy in the room. You know, anyone's energies, moods can change the energy in a room. It's like when you come across someone that is very dramatic or they have very low vibrational emotions or moods, their frequency, their vibration can shift others. If you're not careful, they can shift you. If you're empathic, you might walk away not feeling so good, like your heart is pinching. Okay, so we have been hearing about some of these banks in the last few days. I know that the bank stocks have dropped. Are we going to experience a shutdown? I've heard whispers of dates, 11/11, like we just spoke about the portal. The portal is a good day, but maybe the shutdown wouldn't be such a bad thing if all the banks crashed and then we had a new financial system where it wasn't corrupt and everyone could see the transactions. Are we going to experience the emergency broadcast system, the emergency alert system, and have NESARA GESARA? I'm going to mention that. The financial crash, is it coming in 2023, November, right now? Is it going to be the stock markets? There are stocks that are dropping. The housing market, are the prices going to crash the housing market? Is this all going to happen all at once? And is the bank crashes going to happen or continue? I know I think 5 or 6 banks have toppled. This past few days, bank stocks have dropped significantly, and so have S&P 500. As the bond crash weakens balance sheets, Bank of America is sitting on 130 billion unrealized losses. Without healthy banks, how are we going to function? SoftBank Post 6.2 billion loss after WeWork, that was a business in the city, went for bankruptcy. 6.2 billion. So insiders of Bank of America sold 16 million recently in stock. The president of Global Corporate Matthew Coker sold 7.7. So when some of the executives are selling off their stocks, you have to wonder, why is that and what's going to happen? What is impending for us? So yesterday, Bank of America stocks dropped. I mean, anything is possible. It seems like they get bailed out, and then we kind of just, it keeps going on and on and on, and whatever is meant to happen, go with the flow. All right, so NESARA GESARA, what exactly is that? NESARA GESARA is the Natural Economic Security and Reformation Act. And I've seen some of these Q drops, QAnon, and they bring up the QFS and NESARA GESARA, and I read that the FBI is sending out warnings that a terrorist attack on the U.S. is imminent. And this was in the last few days, and it even went on some of the news channels, and then they dropped it. Attack on the U.S. is imminent, advising to stock up on a month's essentials items. The Rothschild Q Mafia empire owned the U.S. Federal Reserve, the IRS, and all central banks across the world, and 90% of international corporations such as the WHO, BlackRock, Vanguard, WEF. So are we going to experience NESARA GESARA? Now, central banks, I don't believe are going to be necessary after some kind of event. And what event am I talking about? The awakening of everyone. Maybe it's the solar flash. Maybe it's some kind of crash. There's some kind of event allegedly going to happen across the globe. And when I say event, maybe it's going to be a divine event. I know we hear, and I repeat, these headlines of the QFS, NESARA, GESARA. Let's see. 10 Days of Darkness. And there are a lot of rumors. What I'd like you to take away from whatever I'm speaking about always is for you to, yes, take some of this information, listen to it, consider it's a possibility, just like anything else. We really can't control what's going on out here, can we? Let's remind ourselves that this is where we can change our physical reality. And let's remind ourselves that our power comes from within. So go to the base of your spine, go dig down deep, and just pull up all of your energy and bring it out of you. And maybe that's going to float through out of you, and it's going to come out through your crown chakra, and you're going to pass on to that energy all the wonderful ideas that you have for your life, your destiny, your dreams. And they can be infinite. Let's not cap it. Let's not say, well, the most I can achieve. No. Because if we want to get here, we want to get here, we have to reach high, very high to land here. Because if you reach here, you're only going to land down here. You want to reach as high as possible, because who knows, anything is possible, right? So that's what I want you to take away from this, is more or less the power is within you. Now, maybe we'll have some grand event. Maybe NESARA, GESARA will change everything. And we won't have the IRS, and we won't have, it's going to be the abolishment of income tax, and all your credit card debt's gone. Woof! Wouldn't that be a breeze? I have a leased car. Then I wouldn't have to pay the lease, maybe. It sounds a bit of a fairy tale, right? A pipe dream, but you never know. We can think that that's a possibility, but what I'd really like you to remind yourself is not to look for a profit, not to look for an event, but to come from within. Maybe it's going to your heart, so let's do that right now. Let's tune into our heart. So you go through the little minor steps of letting out any kind of tension that you have in your body. And this is part of your clairsenses, isn't it? Your heart. Because when we're tuning into our heart, we can receive a lot of information through our clairsenses. Wisdom, data, and it's coming from another source. And that's how you're receiving it. In this particular moment, I'd like you to remind yourself to let go of any tension, let out a breath. Allow yourself to have some peace within yourself. And that means letting go of anxiety, releasing. If you have to say a word, let out a breath. I'd like you to tune into your heart. So you go to your heart, and whatever that means to you, maybe it's instantly you know what I'm saying, and you can feel. And if I say, what are you feeling? If you tune into your heart, if you ask your heart, what emotion do I have? How am I feeling? For me, I'm saying, come up with one word. I'm feeling relieved. Maybe because I released something. Now, this is actually the beginning of all of your understanding about you. Because when we pretend our emotions, and we're taught at a really young age to do a lot of pretending. It's about we're on show. We're being showcased through our lives from the time we're infants. Look this way, be this way, act this way. And we're told who to be. So we're really masking and we're layering and covering exactly how we're feeling. And sometimes if you're an individual, a person that is emotional, which means you're very sensitive. Maybe you have sensory abilities, sensory characteristics. In other words, everything you're sensitive to. Maybe you're sensitive to light or food or people's words or the environment. you're going to have to do a lot of masking, which means you're not really going to be in touch with yourself. And that's going to create problems within you. That's going to create a lot of, I guess, it could be addictions, it could be coping, could be take itself into anger, many, many things. So when I ask you to tune into your heart, if you can tune into your heart and come up with a word and you say to yourself, I'm accepting that about myself. I'm a human. I'm accepting that self about me, and it's okay. You're going to go a lot farther than you saying, no, 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 I don't feel that way. Because then how are you going to cope with not admitting how you feel? You're going to do something to cover that up or to feel better, which might be takes on the form of eating something or saying something or doing something. So let's get to the heart of who we really are. All right, and that's about it for that. Let's get back to the economic. So NESARA GESARA is known as redistribution of wealth. There won't be mortgages, credit card debt, and there's going to be what's called debt forgiveness. All global members will be removed. I'm hearing that. I'm hearing over and over, okay, the cabal is gone. The cabal has no power. But I continue to see television shows. I continue to see evil people doing evil things. So I don't know what to believe. Again, I'm going to say, this is all I can control and change. So I'm going to just really focus on me. I'm not going to be overwhelmed with whatever is going on out here in the physical outer world. There's going to be NESARA GESARA is going to bring forward new technologies. Anyone who's joining us, please write in the chat and tell me how you're feeling and what you're thinking. And something called rainbow currency. So will we have CBDC, which is again through the banking system that we've had all along? The cabal, I think it was the IRS, and then also when we no longer had gold-backed currency, we're going to go back to gold-backed currency and what's called rainbow currency of U.S. Treasury backed by gold and silver. The removal of the Fed Reserve bills. All right, so when all of this happens, like I've said about the fifth dimension, we're probably going to have this great awakening across the globe. And we've kind of had glimpses of the great awakening. We've opened our eyes. It's taking a long time, it feels like, because we're on the other side of it. Those of who've climbed out of the matrix can't wait for everyone else to realize that they don't have to be in this enslavement. You can wake up in the morning and maybe say, I don't want to go to my 9-to-5 job. I don't want to pay taxes. I want free energy, and I want all of these suppressed patents of advanced technology. And I believe, and I hope that yes, I will see that in my lifetime and maybe soon. So the Great Awakening is what maybe you or someone you know might have mentioned before, which is these light workers and starseeds have been here on Earth, coming from other star families, and they're here to awaken the masses to a new belief system, a new civilization, and to take away this philosophy of being a sheep and being liked and being a follower and more to be independent, and to come up with your own ideas and your own, I guess, way of spending your day. Maybe having fun rather than going to work and working 40 years before you can retire and taking 2 weeks vacation, maybe every day waking up and taking a vacation and it not hindering you. So the mind control will be taken away when we all, I was going to say if, but I'm going to say when we all awaken. We all awaken and step out of the matrix with the Mr. Smiths that are a representation of government agents. If you've ever seen the movie The Matrix, and the main character is living two different realities, the one that he is enslaved and the one that he is free, and he's being chased to have his mind taken from him. NESARA releases money for humanitarian purposes, and they forbid the sale of birth certificates, and there's free energy, free transportation, and there's no battling any health issues, and we receive advanced technologies like med beds so that we are all healthy and we are no longer fear lacking. All right, so I'd like to get on to some of these anti-gravity and some of this advanced technology, and where did it come from and how long has it been around? Well, I have a few photos here. Now, I don't know if you've been paying attention to the news. In the last 6 months, we've had some of these press conferences with government officials from the Pentagon, whistleblowers who have shared with us these UFO stories from naval officers and officers, or I guess you could say officials that have worked in some of these black projects. And these black projects, these government black projects, have been funded, I guess, by taxpayer money. And I want to share with you some of these black projects I believe were technologies taken from extraterrestrial, I guess, I want to say technologies, but from other I guess they're out in the star, in the universe, other star planets, other locations, and then we had crashed UFOs that we found and discovered, and we also spoke to extraterrestrials who shared formulas and designs. But there's also been humans that have come up with anti-gravity vehicles. And I'm going to show you some pictures and share with you. Now, here we go. There's anti-gravity vehicles. Now, we know, and we've seen some of these, which are from our secret space program. Now, I've shared with you in the past these black triangles, which are ours that we designed. And I think that these were from extraterrestrial technologies, and they were reversed. And this vehicle actually is something that submersible. So it can go in and out of the water and fly and move all different directions really fast. In a matter of seconds, miles away, faster than anything we can imagine. And I remember reading about this and speaking about this in the past, and the texture, what this is made out of, has the effect of it being very thin. But I don't think it really is. I don't know if it's a, what do you call that? It's like a trick to the eye, or if it actually is very thin because somebody's inside of it. And this is called I believe this is called a TR-3B anti-gravity spacecraft. It's highly pressured, mercury accelerated by nuclear energy to produce plasma and creates a field of anti-gravity around the ship. It thrusts on the tips of the craft and allows rapid speed maneuvers all along on the 3 axes. It's almost invisible and undetectable. Now, there's someone called Otis T. Carr. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. And you can go online and you can find some interviews with him. If you are a follower of Project Camelot, Carrie Cassidy, and I found and watched an interview today, and there's a few of them. And I believe these interviews are quite a while ago. Maybe they could be 10 to 20 years old. And there is, actually, I'm trying to remember who I saw the interview. Actually, it's not with this guy. It's the next guy I'm going to talk about. This guy is Otis T. Carr. He's the founder of OTC Enterprises. And this is what I quote. I'm going to quote him in saying, our system, and I'm going to hold this up so you can see, he came up with this. And this is an anti-gravity craft. Our system utilizes gravity, extromagnetism, and electromotive force in the same manner that any known battery produces an electromotive force. And he created what he called the Utron, which is a geometric form. His company had advances similar to Nikola Tesla. That was his mindset, Nikola Tesla. And if you know anything about Nikola Tesla, he created free energy, and he created ways of moving through the air without gas or oil. And he invented the Tesla coil. And he combines this copper coil with the earth and the atmosphere, and I think water as well, and all of those together create some kind of force field around an object. Anyway, back to Otis T. Carr. He constructed fully operating flying saucers in the 1950s. So this was invented in the 1950s. Now, 21 trillion went missing in the Department of Defense and the Department of Housing, and it was diverted to fund black projects. Now, Otis T. Carr, his ideas and his technology was taken away, and it was said that he was crazy. Like anyone who had any kind of inventions, they took it away. The government took it away. And I'm trying to remember if he was put in prison. One of these guys was put in prison. Let me see, was he put in prison? I don't know. I'm sure I'll come up with it. But anyway, so all of his technology was taken by the government, and it was suppressed. Now, the other guy I wanted to mention to you was William. Now, he's the one that the interview with Carrie Cassidy, you can find him online. He also wrote this book called, and I'm going to get it, he was born in 1923. This is one of his inventions. And he wrote the autobiography Selected by Extraterrestrials, My Life in the Top Secret World of UFOs. And this was published in 2015. Now, interestingly enough, he has this whole story that involved, Nazi Germany. It involved 2 different technologies. One was with the Nordic aliens, and one was with reptilians. And he said that extraterrestrials had given Nazi Germany advanced technologies to create flying saucers or to create anti-gravity vehicles. So William Tompkins said that Nazi Germany reproduced complex extraterrestrial data for the Navy and designed and reproduced anti-gravity abilities in Europe, South Africa, and Antarctica. The first was assisted by Nordic extraterrestrials, and then the second was assisted by reptilians with Hitler. And he claims that there was a trip to Mars in 1945. Again, you can find interviews with him. Same old buildings had rods. Yes, yes. Those were evident in Tartaria. Tartaria, which was an ancient civilization that was exterminated by parasites. So William Tompkins claims that the Navy and the Nordics were behind his knowledge. And so he wrote articles, and he said that Nordics helped build massive spacecrafts during World War II, the Draco reptilians involved with Nazis, and they had 2 enormous caverns on Earth. So the secret space program interacted with extraterrestrials since the 1920s, he alleges. He took designs to Douglas Aircraft Company in California and Lockheed North America Aviation, and Nordics and extraterrestrials, female, and Tompkins guided him through the 1950s, their own space program. So that's some of what allegedly happened. I want to mention what's called sonic healing. Before I get on to psychic phenomenon, I want to mention sonic healing. I don't have a picture of this. Sonic healing machines. Because I believe this is where the world is going. I believe the world is going into, we're all going to plant our own gardens, telepathy. And I believe that there's going to be machines. Maybe it's called a med bed or a sonic healing machine. And it relaxes the body. And it's also known as sonic vibration therapy. It stimulates organ, tissue, releases stubborn fat, increases cellular vitality, strengthens bones. And it's the elimination of certain energies and raises energy levels. So it's low and high frequency sound waves. And there you go. So these are some possibilities. Let your imagination go wild, and that's how we will create this new civilization. We will find out probably in the next few years exactly where we're headed. I believe we're going into a place of love and light and peace. All right, so let's do some psychic phenomenon. Anyone who's joining us, I hope you like the video and subscribe to the channel, in which you can interdimensionally. Yes, in 30 seconds. Hence the name of. I believe so. I believe that we are headed to a world, and we have been suppressed. We have been enslaved. Our mind has been kept in a box. And maybe get out some art supplies and draw up or paint or color the reality that you would like to live in, because that's how we will change the physical reality, the outer world, is by our thoughts and having a different mindset and a different belief system and being a bit of a rebel. Not saying a rebel that creates havoc, a rebel that believes there's another reality, because there is. And it's pretty exciting. So let me mention angels again. Here's a little painting, hierarchy of angels. There's 9 ranks of angels: seraphim, cherubim, thrones, dominions, principalities, powers, virtues, archangels, and guardian angels. And we have at least 2 guardian angels that are with us from the time we're born. And from the very beginning, I started doing lives. I always spoke about angels, and I know that that brings me back to my self. And I had near-death experiences at a young age, 2 of them, and I saw light, and I found a place, or saw a place, you could say, that exists somewhere else in another dimension. And I like to bring up angels because to me they're pure and good. They're immortal. They're messengers. They're warriors. There's archangels like Gabriel and Michael that are here for us, and you can ask angels to take you through a difficult situation, to lift you up. Maybe tonight you'll have a dream about angels. And I also would like to mention light on the horizon, which is seeing a sunrise. And for me, I would have dreams of walking up to this picturesque window in the shape of a rectangle. And through this window, I saw the most beautiful sunrise with oranges and yellows and reds and water and light beaming towards me. And I said, wow, I have to have hope because here's a moment that's touched my heart and anything is possible. So for me, when I get up early enough and I see a sunrise, it changes my being. Because when we have light within our heart, we can overcome so much. And we can have hope for ourselves and hope for others. Now, it has to begin with us. Just like love, we must love ourselves if we want to bring love into our life from others. Okay, so let's do some psychic phenomenon. And so psychic phenomenon is a way to connect to our clairsenses. We all have abilities. You have abilities, probably more advanced than mine. And everyone has them. They just haven't practiced. So let's begin to practice our clairsenses. I speak of telepathy. I speak of clairaudience, our hearing beyond the walls of a room. You have a knowing within you. You have a hunch. You have a sense. You have a knowing. You have a sixth sense. You have ESP. Now, in the old days, they would say, all right, if you're psychic, I'm going to hold up this card. And there's going to be a little symbol on one side. Maybe it was an arrow. Maybe it was a box. Maybe it was a swivelly line. A heart. You can know what it is. I'm going to hold it up and you'll know. But what have I told you? That's a trick. Because there's no feelings or emotions connected to a swivelly line or a heart or a box or a diamond. Telepathy is a way of you receiving thoughts from another person. It's called thought transference. And you're receiving it because that thought, there are emotions and feelings attached to it. It's a charged impulse. If you think of someone and you're clear, most likely you're going to hear from them. And vice versa. Like, which came first? Did you think of them or did they think of you and you get in touch with them? When you might have a family member or a friend that you're close to, you might start gaining their thoughts, and it seems a little intrusive. Sometimes someone can look at you with their eyes and they know what you're thinking because they're clear and you're clear. And that's telepathy. When we practice our clairsenses, which is our hearing, our seeing in our third eye, and we spoke about activating all these different clairsenses, our feeling in our heart, our clairsustenance. If you're empathic and you have this ability where you absorb other people's feelings, you're like, oh my gosh, I feel so bad. I don't know why. Because you're around someone who's going through something emotional and you absorbed it. You want to gain some ability about having some control over that. Otherwise, you're going to go through your life and have a lot of other people's feelings. All right, so let's let go of any kind of, oh, do we get some trident? You're very talkative tonight. It all helps me to be centered. Yay. All right. Perfect. All right. So we are going to let go of any tension that we have. I'm going to also remind you, drink water, spend time in nature, try to stay in the sun as much as you can so that you get vitamin D. Have someone that you can confide in, a good friend that you feel comfortable with sharing your feelings, because we don't want to become stagnant with our throat chakra. All right, so we're going to let go of any tension that we have. We're going to, move our neck around so that we let go. After a long day, how do you feel? I feel exhausted. I feel like I just want to lay on my bed or the couch and just eat food and just go to sleep. And we want to sleep well. So if we let go of tension in our bodies before we go to sleep, like right now, we're going to sleep better. So we're going to be like a rag doll. We're going to let go of any tension in our arms. We're going to let all of that seep through our fingertips. We're going to let out a breath. And we're going to have acceptance. When we do our psychic phenomenon, we have to let go of any doubt. We have to have a willingness that it's possible. Because the more that you accept your clear abilities, the more they're going to come through. You're going to receive them even when you least expect it. All right, so we're letting go of any tension. We're pushing away any doubt. We're going to remind ourselves to focus on our breath. We're not going to think about any thoughts because our clear senses are based on our senses. It's not our thinking. Most of our thinking is basically a thought that we received from somebody else. Like, this is a glass. That's water. I didn't make that up. We want to receive information in our senses without our thoughts. So it's just natural. All right, we're going to do 3 inhales and exhales. Okay, we're going to do it on a 7 count. So you're inhaling, counting to 7, holding it for 7, releasing it for 7. We're going to do 3. So we're really focused on our breath and we're really letting go of any tension. Okay, we're going to start now. I almost burst into laughter because I realize how much this is good for me. Maybe it's helping you, but it's really helping me just to do this, just to practice my psychic phenomenon. Okay, so we focused on our breath. We're dropping down into our physical vessel. We're having focus and concentration. We're reminding ourselves anything is possible. Now I'd like to remind you about hearing beyond the walls of the room. We're going to activate this, right? I'm going to be quiet. We're going to listen beyond the walls of the room. What are you hearing? Did you hear anything just now? I heard someone flipping through money, or it might have been a deck of cards. That's what I heard. Where is that coming from? It's not from me. It's another location. Now I'd like you to remind yourself about your clairvoyance. And is your third eye activated, which is another realm, another dimension? Maybe you need to tap with your finger to activate it. Move your finger in a circle. Imagine light beaming onto your third eye, asking for it to happen. I know not all of this happens in one quick second, but little do you realize that when you stretch yourself and your abilities, eventually you're going to open up another part of you. You're going to have expansion and awareness and a higher consciousness. Don't give up. Anything is possible. Now also you're feeling like we did earlier, reminding yourselves, what am I feeling? And that's your clairsustenance. Now also you can have your sense of touch, your sense of smell, your sense of taste, whatever it is for your claircognizance. You can do more than one of these at a time. So what I normally do is we go through the steps of relaxing, focusing on our breath, dropping down, and then I give a suggestion. So the suggestion tonight is going to be, and you're going to focus on one of your clairsenses. I'm going to focus on my hearing and my feeling. Now, if something doesn't work for you and you don't receive any impressions, the impression is going to come through as what it's going to be something. Maybe you're going to see a mental picture. Maybe you're going to hear a voice or a sound. You might transport yourself to another reality, another dimension. You might channel. There's many possibilities. Just allow it to happen. Don't think about it. It's going to happen in seconds, and then the sensation is going to be gone. It's going to feel like a physical sensation, not like anything you felt before. That means you've expanded. So be open. Be open. I want good things for you. Okay, so like I said, you're listening beyond the walls of the room, or you're seeing in your third eye, you're feeling. It's one of your clairsenses. Okay, the suggestion tonight is to meet an extraterrestrial. Meeting an extraterrestrial. I'm going to be quiet and let's see what we receive. This is a big one, guys. Okay, so that was very interesting. I don't know what you received, if you saw anything or felt anything. And we're going to do another one just because I don't know if that was too much of a reach. I don't know what if you received anything. I'm going to share with you what I received. And it was not what I expected. I saw something that was looked very fiery. And there was a lot of orange and red, and it was very hostile. And I kept trying one of my other sentences. First I heard it, and then I saw it, and I was kind of doubting it, which is not what I suggest, is it? But I still accepted it at the same time, and I looked back again, and then I even greeted it to try to have, and it had spiked, it looked, how do I describe it? It had a spiked back, but it was an orangey red, and it was very hostile, but I just still said, hello, hi, nice to meet you. I don't know if anyone here received anything. I would do Wait, what does this say? What does this say, Trident? Mary, I wish you would do one on from heaven. Manna from heaven? All right, so you want us to take you to heaven? Is that it, Trident? I'm not really quite sure I know. All right, so I'll try to kind of figure out what you just said. All right, so if you saw an extraterrestrial, share with me what you saw. I'm kind of speechless about what I saw. I'm not really sure. I mean, I definitely vividly saw it, but I don't know what that was. All right, so let's remind ourselves we're going to let go of any tension. We're going to drop down into our physical being. Maybe let out a breath. We're going to ground ourselves. I didn't say that earlier. I want to remind yourself to put your feet firmly in the earth's surface. Your base of your spine is going down into the earth as well. And maybe we'll receive even more information. So we're letting go of any tension. We're going to focus in on one of our clear senses, 1 to 3 of them. My suggestion right now is going to be, I'd like you to see or feel what we called goodness. See or feel goodness. Experience goodness is what I should say. Experience goodness, whatever that is to you. And I'm going to be quiet. And then when I'm done, I'm going to tell you exactly why I chose this. All right, so I don't know if you received anything. For me, make sure to look up. It's right up your alley. So for me, I had a dream about an angel, and that's what I saw. And so for me, it's angels is goodness. The experience of goodness is angel. And this angel that I saw in my dream, this is going back 5 years ago, this angel did not seem to embody like, how do I say, light. It was a very strong angel. And I don't know if it was one of the archangels, but I looked down this doorway. This was a sleeping dream. I looked down this doorway or this, I shouldn't say doorway, this what was it called? It was it was down a hallway, and at the other end of the hallway there was a steps and a doorway, and standing in the doorway was this, I believe, an angel, and I saw its wing was from its shoulder down to the ground, and it was a side profile, and I thought, what is that? And its eyes looked like an eagle's eyes, and it was very vivid, and I got the energy of this angel, and it blinked, so I knew it would, so I would know it was alive and real. And it was this very strong energy that was masculine and feminine. It seemed like feminine, but then it had a masculine quality, and it seemed not angry, but it seemed so powerful that I can't even describe it. It was overbearing. So just now when I said goodness, that actually was goodness, because an angel, I believe, is goodness. All right, everybody, I thank you for joining us. And let me just read what Trident's saying. The substance of holy Israelites in the Bible, or Egyptians, or somebody would eat or take extensively. Make sure to realize with your other work this topic. Jim Morris covered in a lecture available on BitChute. I saw a small-headed thing. Oh, you did, Bob Harding. So that was the extraterrestrial you saw, Bob Harding? I am so grateful to everyone who joined us tonight, and thank you so much. I am wishing everyone well. I will come on again whenever I can. You can tell I'm fighting a little bit of a cold. I'm going to get out of all these health issues soon, and everything's going to be wonderful. I know this weekend here in New York, it's supposed to be sunny in the 50s. And I want to remind you what Saturday is, the 11/11 portal. Tonight we covered topics like the 11/11 gateway ascension, ANUNNAKI, alien gods, NESARA, GESARA, and we spoke about some kind of anti-gravity vehicles. I told you about Otis T. Carr and his fully operating flying saucers, and William Tompkins. I'm going to get his book, which is about his experiences with designing extraterrestrial crafts. I hope everyone has a wonderful evening. I'm spinning light and you're in the center of it. So I'm imagining this very long 1 foot band of light, white light, and it's spinning and you're in the center of it. And I'm spinning it clockwise, right? Clockwise 1, and you're in the middle of it. 2, 3, and then I'm spinning it the opposite way. And when we imagine white light around us when we go into a crowd, it stops any negative energies from touching us. So just remind yourself of that. So you're in the center of it and you're making a wish. You're making a wish of something that you really want. And I want good things for you. And I'm reminding you, it doesn't matter where you live, what you look like, what you have, or what you do. You're a beautiful being of light. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. I hope you liked the video and subscribe. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much, Trident, Bob Harding, and anyone else right on the video. And tell me anything you want. Give me some kind of direction, something you would like to talk about. I'm going to put in the description this Council of Light quote about the gateway on Saturday. Don't forget, before you go to sleep Friday night, write down your first thought of the day for Saturday. You want to expand yourself. You want to become this beautiful being of light with a higher consciousness. We're traveling to the 5th dimension together. Bye. Bye.